Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome back to Nerdin' Out. I'm joined with my good friend Nathanael.
Hello, and the person who just introduced me is Evan.
Hello.
As I'm sure you know by now, or don't if you're new to our podcast.
Yeah. We don't want to assume that everyone just knows us. That's really narcissistic. Usually we have David here with us, but he's not here today, which is fine. He is off doing important things with his family and stuff, and that's fine.
He's allowed to do that from time to time. We're
Yes.
not going to stop him.
Nah, we're not gonna stop him. Can't stop, won't stop. But so how have you been, Nathaniel? I don't feel like we've ever stopped and talked about how we've been doing for a while. We've just kind of gone into stuff. How have you been?
I've been good. Doing well. My new job is going pretty well.
Yeah. What do you do exactly?
I write long form articles about random topics. It's a little bit more fluid than that because the company is growing and expanding and changing really fast. So what I am doing now might change in the future, but I go to a lot of meetings. There's a lot of content planning and strategy.
Finally using that English degree.
Yeah.
Finally.
I know, right?
In writing.
It's been a year since I got laid off from my editing job.
Oh, yeah.
And that whole time I haven't really been using it. So it's about time.
Right? It's finally all that time wasting money to get a piece of paper. Now I can make money.
Now I can
to
make
pay back all
now
the
I
money.
can make digital pieces of paper and pay back with other digital pieces of paper, the physical piece of paper that I got from the college.
It feels like it comes full circle, but I don't think it does.
Not really. If you don't think about it too much, it does. But yeah, that's been going well.
If you don't question it, then it works.
I'm happy to be working full time. I look forward to going into work. My coworkers are really cool.
That's cool. That's always a really good thing to have.
Yeah.
That's
how are you? How you been?
I'm good. I've been kind of frustrated with work the last couple of days, just with scheduling. That's been kind of annoying. I kind of alluded to it earlier today, but off podcast, but it's a job, and I enjoy what I do. I don't want to make it seem like I hate my job. I definitely love my job, but I've kind of hit a snag with scheduling, and it's kind of scary. I only have 13 hours
in
my week coming up, and that's not nearly enough money.
No.
Or at least it says so on my schedule. I called my office and they were like, "Oh no, that shouldn't be the case." I'm like, "Okay, if you say so." But
it is.
Even if it is like that, I can always just pick up extra shifts, during the day. So it's not like I have to have, so it's not like it's locked in. So I'm not too worried about it, but it is kind of stressful now. I have to be extra vigilant and grab things just in case my schedule isn't, just in case my schedule is what it says it is. So that's a little weird, but other than that, I've been good. Married life's been good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's, I can't complain. So
legit.
Yeah. So a little bit into kind of actually first, kind of go back to our old format of Nerdin' Out. What have you been into lately, Nathaniel?
What have I been into? Ooh, so
bringing back an old topic matter.
Yeah, I've actually not been playing too many video games lately. I've been pretty busy adjusting to my work schedule and everything.
Right.
But I've been watching some TV. Now this isn't really a nerdy type of show, I guess, but I started watching this show called Dead to Me.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original. It's about this woman who...
It's Christina Applegate in it, right? It's the blonde lady.
Yeah. So she loses her husband in a car crash. So she's kind of dealing with the fallout of that, and she meets this other woman in a group for people who lost their spouses and are widows now. And they talk to each other as one of those support groups, and they become friends, and there's some pretty cool plot twists.
Huh.
But it's pretty emotional. It's labeled as a comedy. I don't think it's so much funny as it is just makes you think.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is it more satirical, you think?
In some places, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to be like darker humor, and there are some elements of that, but it's not like fully a dark comedy. It's like more drama than comedy. But that one's pretty cool. There's only like 10 episodes and they're like half an hour or so. And of course, I'm watching Parks and Rec because I always watch Parks and Rec.
You always do, though.
Exactly.
That's like your show. That's like your
That's
show.
what I've been into until I'm dead. So, or not, that might change. How about you, Evan? What are you into?
My wife actually just recently got into video games more.
Oh, yes.
We found, we had the Black Ops 3 that was like free to download on PS4. And one night we were just hanging out and she was just like, do you have a video game that we can play together? And I was like, I mean, yeah. She's like, not a sports game. I'm like, okay, then no. So I went through my library and I was like looking for something that I could just download real quick. And I had Black Ops 3 and I was just like, we had played Black Ops 2 before together. So I was like, this is kind of like that other game, but it's like a little different. And she's like, okay. And it seemed like every night last week, we just, after dinner, we would just like play zombies together and just like shoot zombies together. The zombie mode in Black Ops 3 is a lot more intense than in Black Ops 2. It gets overwhelming really fast. But it's fun. And so we've kind of been bonding over that. So that's been a really fun thing.
Awesome.
And then I think I shared the picture with you in our podcast group chat, but I was at work and she was like playing the zombie mode by herself at home. And she was like practicing and trying to get better because she's just worried about she's just like focusing on like being a better partner for me playing the zombie mode. She's like, she doesn't want me to like, every once in a while she would look at me. She's like, are you having fun? I was like, yeah. And I was like, she's like, really? Are you really having fun? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm having a lot of fun. This is fun. And she's just like, I just feel like I'm like weighing you down. And it's like, oh my God. No, it's not true. Like, I mean, it's just part of the game. I'm not going to hold that against you just because like you're new at this too. I'm sure like if you get more practice, she'll be really good. Cause
there are some people who play games and in order to have fun, they have to do well, but you're not one of those people necessarily. I mean,
she's having fun just playing the game and like learning it. So, and like
but she was like maybe expecting you to like not have fun if you weren't doing like too well.
Yeah, she was. I think her expectations was like that if she struggled, then I wouldn't have fun, which I didn't find that to be the case at all. So
that's awesome. You're able to play video games with her.
Yeah, I know.
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And we took a break from like watching Friends and stuff that we usually do, and we found something else that we can bond over.
Awesome.
So that's been nice. Let's see. But in the realm of news this week, John Wick 3 has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow. That's a lot better than Detective Pikachu that has like 70.
Yeah.
Which is not horrible, but Metacritic is bad.
I haven't seen it, but
I really want to watch it. I don't think it's going to be amazing at all. Yeah. I just want to watch it because Pikachu.
I just want to watch it because of Pikachu. Let's see.
Have you seen that GIF that's broken the internet where he's just dancing?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And it's like being put to like different music,
which most of them don't fit at all because people have no sense of rhythm.
No. They should just put the actual clip from the movie in. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah. So actually, Pikachu came out this Friday, I think.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones Rotten Tomato score has been dropping since like the beginning of season 8.
Yeah, people are mad.
It's just going downhill.
Well, that's what people who are very loyal to the book say. I personally think it's phenomenal. I think it's really good. It's definitely a little bit more rushed because there's less episodes.
And there's Starbucks coffee cups on the tables.
That was a huge thing, yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge my wife and I drove up to LA on Monday, and like that was one of the first things we were talking about. I asked her, did you hear about the Starbucks thing with Game of Thrones? She was like, what? I was like, yeah, apparently it was so rushed that they didn't notice that a Starbucks coffee was on the table. And she's just thinking, she was just sitting there like in the car thinking, so many people have to get fired because how many people does that have to go through and nobody notices?
So it was specifically a Starbucks cup, and a lot of people at my work were like talking about this during the workday and over the past like few days.
Of course.
They were like, we think it was a marketing strategy because no one has been talking about Starbucks that much, like for such a short period of time.
But
so like half of them are convinced it's a marketing strategy, half of them are convinced it was just a total rush job.
Speaking of marketing strategy, I think that the Sonic thing, the Sonic redesign,
no.
I think that was a marketing.
Really?
I think that was an actually because they responded so fast to criticism.
Yeah.
They responded really fast. And with the leaked images, there was plenty of criticism and plenty of people like mocking it up to that point, like at that point, and they could have changed it then, but they didn't.
So are you thinking maybe they have like a lot of the changes already happening?
I have a feeling that the trailer that came out, that was a separate thing that was made with a different design for Sonic altogether. And they have a complete movie with like the redesigned Sonic, quote unquote, already done, and that was just to get people to talk about Sonic more because like the Sonic.
I mean,
Twitter,
it definitely happened.
I mean, the Sonic Twitter like makes fun of itself so much. It's such a meta thing.
It's a great account.
So I don't think it would be on the realm of disbelief if they planned that. You know what I mean? I think they knew what they were doing. And
that would be really smart.
Because
I don't know if I think they're that. I don't know if I could credit them for being that smart, but you might be right.
I don't know, because that's a lot of labor laws they're breaking to get that done. And
you mean like to go forward and change everything?
To go forward and change everything, because like so I don't know. It's a matter of waiting to see like how big the difference is going to be. And
I mean, either way, the movie looks like it's gonna be awful.
I don't know.
Only like based on the trailer, like if they only changed his appearance, the only thing that looked redeeming was Jim Carrey to me.
Oh, of course, Jim Carrey is pretty much good in anything he's in. I thought that was an interesting cast choice, though. Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman.
I never would have put them together.
Dr. Robotnik. But speaking of movies, Endgame is still smashing box office records globally. It's past the 2 billion mark for like the 2 billion plus mark for movie for like gross income
worldwide. Yeah,
and it's still going. It hasn't stopped.
And I think Avatar is at 2.86.
2.86, so it's like
it's getting close.
It's getting really close. It'll probably break it within the end of the month here. Then finally, not finally, It Chapter 2 trailer dropped. That somehow looks scarier than the first It movie.
That like teaser in itself is scarier than most of It one. I feel like that. Nobody wanted to see grandma.
I was gonna say the naked grandma. There's nothing I'm like scared of more than like jittery movements and naked grandmas.
Yeah, it was like so twitchy. And like the holes in like her chest is like
that's like decay, like shit. That's like a dead body technically, I guess. That like
I love that. What was it? Bill Hader, isn't it? I think that's
Bill Hader. Cool. Chastain is each of the members of the kid cast, the Losers Club. They handpicked the actors to play their adult self. So they're saying like I think he would be the perfect fit for like adult me. And there is oh gosh, what's his name?
The British dude, right?
Yeah, from
John McAvoy.
Yeah, John McAvoy. John McAvoy. John McAvoy plays Bill when he gets older, and he actually becomes in the book he becomes a horror book writer.
Ooh.
And moves to London. That's actually his.
Because I was wondering when he had the accent, but that makes sense.
In the book, like that's what he becomes. So I wonder if they're going to stick to that. Then finally, a trailer a couple weeks ago came out for Crawl, which is and then this week, second trailer for it dropped. Crawl is basically a weird twist on Sharknado, but with crocodiles.
We needed that, definitely.
Because there's like a hurricane, and then now a hurricane in like Louisiana, and now like a bunch of alligators are in everyone's houses, and so
we got a crocodile.
But they're not calling it that. It's called Crawl.
That makes no sense, but okay.
Alligators crawl, kind of. Crocodiles crawl, I guess, but
I don't know. Sounds more like a horror film.
I mean, I think from the trailer, it looks like that's the spin they're trying to put on it, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Weird.
Anyway,
Speaking of kind of like horror, I guess, like fear,
maybe.
maybe. Our main topic today is Attack on Titan.
Main topic.
Main topic is Attack on Titan. So recently, the second half of season 3 has started airing.
Yes.
So first, there was season 1. This is an anime, by the way, if you don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Based off a manga.
So it's about like 5 or 6 years ago now. Attack on Titan originally launched the anime.
Yes.
To capitalize off the manga because it was doing so well. After the first season aired, it was like 20 something episodes, 4-year hiatus.
Yeah, they
4 years.
Yeah, they just went missing for like 3 or 4 years after that. It was like,
yeah, just kind of out of nowhere, just like, oh, when's the next season? Well, we're not gonna say, it's just like it's in progress.
I don't think they expected it to be as successful. So I think that's why they spent like 2 years going like, oh, that was fun, yeah, and then they see everyone going, when's the next season coming out? And they're like, oh, they wanted another one.
I also know they spent time. I think it was making like an animated 2-part movie.
Oh,
that
really?
like retold the anime. They worked on some sort of project that took the resources. That was like a waste of time, basically.
Did it just never come out?
No, it came out. Yeah, we'd have to check, but I remember them talking about that.
I don't remember ever hearing about that.
Let's see. Anyway, it's finally on its 3rd season.
Right.
After a shorter hiatus of like a few months.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they didn't wait as long after the 2nd season. They're like, okay, clearly people really want this, so we're not going to wait that long.
We should probably give it to them.
Give it to me.
Probably capitalize on this.
Have you seen that meme of the it's like a VR chat. It's like a weird like domo like like sock creature, but he has like 2 black beady eyes and then a wide mouth and no nose, and he just walks up to people and goes, "Mama."
No, I have not. We're gonna have to see that.
And then it goes, "Mama, mama," and it gets really close and it goes, "Spit on me."
That's so weird.
It is. It's just so like, "Mama."
Is this like a public prank?
It's familiar. It's similar to Ugandan Knuckles, where people will use that character skin and just like walk up to random people in VR chat and start doing the do you do it. But now it's like, "Mama, mama."
Every time it spit on me.
Yeah, or I mean, it's some other weird overtly sexual thing that
Oh my god
will make someone feel uncomfortable. It just depends on like what the person controlling the character wants to do.
Unnerving.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. There were 2 anime films.
Wow, really?
Parts 1 and 2. There were Crimson Bow and Arrow and Wings of Freedom. So, and I'm pretty sure they were just like a retelling of the episodes, is what I remember reading a while ago. But I've never seen them. I haven't really seen them floating around or anything. Yeah, a lot of people haven't. So that was, I don't know. They just kind of stopped into that. So, Evan, do you want to tell our listeners what Attack on Titan is in a nutshell?
Attack on Titan is a story that takes place in a weird kind of like colony-esque time period where like there's muskets and cannons and huts and like townhouses and stuff like that, but these people live in a world with normal animals and dogs and then there's these giant humanoid genitalious creatures, Titan, yes, and they eat people.
Yes.
And it's terrifying, and they run in a really uncanny valley kind of way,
and they're very large,
that you laugh at when you watch, but if you were actually in that situation, you'd probably piss yourself. I know I would.
I would just cease to exist out of fear.
I would just like fold. I would just fold into myself. But yeah, they have these walls built and to keep the Titans out, and then one day a gigantic Titan called, later coined the Colossus Titan. He just kicks a hole through the wall.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. And then the plot starts, and then it's just a bunch of Titans come in and eat a bunch of people. The main protagonist, Eren, loses his mom as he watches her get eaten by a Titan. His adopted sister Mikasa, who has a huge crush on him, like has this scarf that he gave her, and she will like never take it off.
And she'll sometimes like inhale it like drugs when he's not there.
That's
or when he's there.
That's our own headcanon. That's not real, but they haven't actually showed that. But and then their friend Armin, who is,
hey guys,
my name's Armin. Yeah, that's the
hey guys, my name is Armin, and I'm played by a female woman
in the Japanese dub, but in the English dub, he's played by a dude. But so it follows these three mainly, like through the story, and you meet a bunch of other characters like Captain Levi, Erwin, who's like the commander of like all of these, and
later on Hanji, who's insane.
Oh geez, so there's like the scout regiment who go out into like past the wall, and they kind of like explore territories and they fight Titans. Then you have the wall garrison, who is basically like security guards, and then you have the
it's like royal
the royal police. The royal police, which stay like in the very center, and they protect the king, and everyone wants to be royal police because they have to do literally nothing.
Yeah, you're not in the action. There's no risk of getting killed.
No, exactly.
Old age might kill you.
Old age is a bitch.
But yeah, so a lot of the scout like regiment, they're the ones who are mostly fighting the Titans, which you can do. You can fight them.
You can
to some extent.
And the Titans' one weakness is the nape of their neck, like the back of their neck. You slice that, then they're dead. Then one day after a Titan, basically like another Titan invasion, the Colossal Titan shows up again, kicks another hole through the wall, and then a bunch of Titans come through. Eren gets eaten, and then finds out he has Titan abilities and becomes a Titan. And then that opens up a whole other can of worms. Then you find out other people have Titan abilities and can turn into Titans. And then it goes into this weird royalty thing where there's like there was this old long lost like princess.
We'll not go too much into.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you didn't know that Eren becomes a Titan, well, you had 6 years. So
yeah.
It's just like one of the many plot twists and many developments.
That's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and we're not going to recap the entirety of Attack on Titan up to this point. But what we are going to talk about is just some things that we've liked about season 3 so far, and like what we're looking forward to, like maybe plot points wrapping up. Because I think what we talked about a lot, like while we watched it together, last year when we were watching it, is that the first half of season 3 focused a lot on storytelling and character building, and there was hardly any action until like the very end. Like you never, because in the first 2 seasons you saw a lot of Eren in his Titan form, but in the beginning of season 3 you hardly saw any of it.
It was mostly people like riding on horses, sitting on tables and talking.
Yeah.
Walking around.
Yeah, and there was some action in the beginning. That, I mean, there was action.
There's action sprinkled up.
There's definitely action like throughout, but for a show being called Attack on Titan, there was not a lot of attacking on Titans.
Yes.
So
and season 2 I felt like very much was very action focused.
Season 2 was very action focused. 1 kind of was a weird mixture of action and story because it was a lot of exposition, but at the same time like setting up future storylines and kind of leaving some things like as a mystery. So like 1 was like a weird like mixed match of like there was plenty of action in it, but then at the same time it like left a lot of questions.
And every time the show answers questions, it gives you more questions.
Yeah, pretty much. And basically, all these storylines have been leading up to Eren getting back to his hometown where everything started, finding his old house and getting to the basement to unlock the secrets to all this Titan stuff that his dad found out.
Should we invoke spoilers at this point?
I mean, we've been talking about like.
I mean, they're not like big things.
I mean, Eren turning into a Titan.
That's pretty big, but that's like very early on in the show.
That's like one of the first plot twists of the entire show. Is when you find out that Eren turned into a Titan. And it was just like, wait, what?
I thought he was dead.
What? Which that was also a weird thing where it's like, oh, they like, it looks like they just killed off the main character. That was weird.
And it wasn't like first episode. It was like 7 in or something.
Oh, it was like still like relatively early on in the series, like a 26 series. I'm like, what are they gonna do now?
Yeah, because it wasn't like the first episode, and it's obviously gonna bring him back because it was the first episode.
No, it was like 7. It was like almost half. It was like getting close to halfway through, and then all of a sudden he's just dead, and it's like, wait, what?
It's like main characters, but normal storytelling. But
yeah, but it was an interesting twist. When I saw the Titan the first time, like Eren's Titan, I was like, oh, that's probably gonna be Eren, and then it was, and I was like, okay, yeah, I was right. So. Yeah, we can invoke a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert for any season 3 stuff that we share. That if you guys are actually following Attack on Titan,
but if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Even if there's a lot of developments and plot twists and stuff that you can look forward to, and it's just it's a very exhilarating, fun watch.
Yes, and I also apologize because there's a lot of information, and I feel like we'll just be like just spitting out a bunch of information, and for someone who doesn't know what Attack on Titan is just going to be like so overwhelmed. so
go watch it, go check it out, go overwhelm yourself with the show.
Okay, so I mean, where do we start?
So
it starts out with Kenny. Kenny is like the main antagonist, like in the beginning of the show, like the first half of season 3.
Yeah, first we don't really know who he is, and he has like a very different fighting style because he uses guns, right?
Yeah, he uses guns. Yeah, and
which we've only really seen like swords and cannons up to this point.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird seeing like the evolution of the fight style that we might see more of going forward.
Right. Oh, and a big thing was in the beginning of season 3, there was a lot of humans killing other humans, which we hadn't seen much of yet.
Yeah,
there was like a war of humanity within itself.
Yeah, like during this war against Titans. So that was a really interesting, like, kind of like twist.
So it reminds me a lot of kind of like zombie stories where it's like the Titans are the real, or the zombies are the real threat, but it's really the people you have to worry about. You think they're the real threat, but I feel like in Attack on Titan, not the zombies, but the Titans are the big threat, but the Zaitans
or the Tombies.
The Tombies. But the people are a huge threat, but the Titans are still like a bigger threat, but they also have like some of them are people too. So it's like a double threat almost.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Oh gosh. My head's hurting thinking about all this. This is a very complex and very like intricately woven story, like because you have to remember all of these different people, and you can't forget people because they come back later and play like really big parts in the story,
even when they've been gone for a while.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it's like really thought out.
Yeah,
it's not just like it has a bunch of stuff and the person just like tosses it together. Like there's a lot of thought that goes behind how all this plays into the other parts of the story.
Right, exactly. And then throughout this first half of season 3, you find out that Captain Levi and Mikasa are related. They're cousins, right? Is that the idea? Yeah, they're cousins.
So. Or distant cousins, one of the two.
I mean, they're distant cousins. Like, what you call it? Kenny is Mikasa's uncle or something.
Levi's.
Levi. Yeah. Mikasa. Yeah. Captain Levi is his actual uncle. And then you find out that and then you find out that Kenny is related to Mikasa's parents. I think he was his mom's
brother.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So he's also Mikasa's uncle, and he is.
So that leads to like a whole backstory for Levi that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about him at all.
Yeah, so it kind of explains why he is the way that he is.
Yeah.
Which is cool because Levi up to this point has been like a fan favorite, but we've not known too much about him.
Yeah, I think he's been a fan favorite because he has his quirks of like wanting everything to be super clean but also like being like a human Beyblade. Yeah. And the fact that that's all that people knew about him, I think that made him more of a fan favorite.
Yeah, he was also no nonsense. He just
got his stuff done. Exactly.
But now we start to see some like weakness and some flaws. And
yeah, exactly. So it was interesting seeing them connecting his character to someone else's character that we know already in the story, and it's kind of like and something that they don't really like touch upon later. It's just kind of a revelation that is made, and then they just kind of move on. And I kind of like that now. Like, you know, Levi and Mikasa don't like look at each other differently. It's just something that is known, and then they just move on with the mission.
Yeah,
which I kind of appreciate. I feel like if they would have kind of like dragged on about it, or if they would have created or fabricated a moment where she's like, hey, be careful, you know, like I care about you now more all of a sudden, then I don't know, it would just feel like fake, or it would just feel like forced.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have liked that. So,
and also like the first half of season 3 had a lot of characters developed that weren't focused on as much before.
Yeah.
And Eren was like a smaller focus. He was more of like he's like who they're using, I guess, or working with, however you want to put it.
Using.
But they were basically
they use him.
But they had like more depth into like the people who are supporting and using him.
Yeah, that's true. I think that it's an interesting it was an interesting choice to focus less on Eren during like the beginning of season 3, because I mean he's like the main character. He's like the poster child of the whole franchise, right? Well, I guess you could say technically it's the Titans themselves, like they're the focus. And if you're focusing on the Titans, then you're focusing on the main characters, I guess. But yeah,
he's not like the typical main character who always has a spotlight, which I really appreciate.
No, I appreciate that a lot. And it's also, he's not like the Mary Sue character that just kind of figures out how everything works. Like he's still kind of figuring out how all this Titan stuff works. And
yeah, and he does like grow and change and improve as a character as time passes.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought it was kind of bland, because he is a little bit one note in the first season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's very just like kill the Titans because kill them and I hate them. And because my mom. But
Titans.
If you haven't seen Attack on Titan Bridge, you should watch that because it's really good. Please don't kill us, please.
Don't kill us. Yeah. It's like, oh, duh, she's going after Eren. Oh, get over your Napoleon. Oh, no, get over your inferiority complex, Napoleon.
Oh, my gosh.
I love Armin. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When she's like, it's like, yes, Jean, I know she has a vagina. I'm not 12.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like, wait, what's that? Well, Aaron, how do you not know this at 17?
Oh, my goodness. Aaron, do we need to have a talk?
Yeah. Then he's like, no, I really don't. It's like, he's not talking to you, Aaron. What don't I know? Just Armin gets so frustrated with everyone's stupidity. It's so funny. That's the abridged version. That's not the actual show. But
yeah.
I mean, in the show, Armin is actually a really good strategist, and that kind of gives him like a role that like doesn't involve him being like the best fighter.
Right,
so,
but he's definitely an asset to humanity.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We see that in the latest episodes where Erwin calls him a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like one of humanity's weapons.
Yeah, and then you made a joke about like someone like throwing him around as an actual weapon. It's like, get back! I have an Armin. You just grab him by the ankle and flail him around,
fling him around like a sword or something, or a club. But yeah, I'm
gonna hit you in the face with his face.
And we see this really interesting moment where Armin's kind of put in charge of a small squad.
Yeah.
But how does it go?
He doesn't handle it very. I mean, he gives orders, but then at the end he's like, I mean, if you want, and he's still like nervous and unsure about himself, and he's a very quick thinker, and like he kind of thinks outside the box, and he was thinking, because like in the past they hid the Titans in the walls, right? And so he was thinking, what if these two people that we're looking for, what if they're doing that right now? So but
he was like, but this is just a hunch.
This is just a hunch. But Erwin goes with it and trusts him, and then it finds out that Reiner, one of the other people that can turn into a Titan, who is one of the bad guys, is like, oh, he's in the wall, and he like stabs a guy.
Yeah.
So
then Reiner gets stabbed through the neck and doesn't die.
Yeah, I know, which is weird. I mean, well, when you have the Titan abilities that they have, like they're able to heal themselves and survive like usually unsurvivable situations.
And it was interesting because he had said like he transferred his consciousness like into his body, which was very
like lower.
Yeah, like it like went through his nervous system.
So if you cut off their consciousness, then like from the rest of their body, I guess then that would kill them.
Yeah, which I guess will probably play more into the series later, because this is kind of a thing we didn't know about before.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have brought it up unless that is something that will be important later. So I understand that a lot of this probably doesn't even make sense if you don't know anything about it. So
now we had a rematch we've been waiting to see for a while. Eren versus Reiner.
Again, yeah. This is round 2, where it keeps adding different levels to like these characters, because what ends up happening is that they use their military training, because both of them grew up together, and they were both like training in the military at the same time, and came out with the same recruit regiment. And you see them in their Titan forms using their military training and using like military grapple techniques, and actually like fighting, not just like brute strength, punching each other as hard as they can. Even they are, but they also aren't like, they're not just savages fighting. They're actually like using like tactics, and it's kind of slowed down because these are like really big creatures that are fighting. So like they would kind of slow down, like
you said, you like really like the grappling like aspect of it.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like showing like all the different like ways that it's like, oh, now that's there, I'm gonna lock my feet here, and then I'm gonna wrap my arm around here and get him in an arm bar. And it's just kind of interesting to see, like, because you don't really see those kind of like intricate fighting styles in anime. It's usually like a blur and then a bunch of fists going everywhere. It's never like,
if you're like really powerful, really big, it's just like a lot of straight on violence. No,
like
not much thought.
Yeah, like strong punching and sometimes kicks. And oh man, watch out for low kicks. I was a really good fighter, then I took a shin to the knee. But yeah, you see like other like fighting animes, and it's like, oh, like it's like, no, they fight really fast, so we can't possibly like draw all the detailed choreography, so they just show like a bunch of fists, and it's like,
yeah.
And but
that I feel like it originates from Dragon Ball Z, and people are just like, well, it works and it's less animation work. So
yeah, I hate to agree with that, but
I'm not saying it's bad, but it definitely has been overused by other anime.
Yeah, but it's a fresh take seeing like the intricate details of like the martial arts and the grappling that goes into being a skilled like military fighter. So I thought that I really appreciated that a lot.
Yeah. And yeah, we leave at a cliffhanger where we're not sure how the fight has ended, because more people come into the fight.
Yeah, and they use these things called thunder spears, which are basically like spear RPGs. They get launched into the nape of his neck, and then they pull the pins, and then they blow up.
Yeah, that's a better explanation.
And yeah, and so this is that was episode 51. Episode 52 is set to come out the week that probably like the week that this episode comes out.
Yeah. It might be out by the time this is posted. It probably will be.
Yeah. So, we'll definitely continue to watch it, and we'll probably do like a season 3 wrap up at some point where we cover all of this. But we just kind of wanted to do a Attack on Titan episode and just kind of gush over this show because it's a show worth gushing over, I think.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better animes I've seen. It's definitely more westernized than other anime because of the setting and a lot of like the action and stuff like that. But
the setting of it reminds me a lot of Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. Kind of the same world and kind of the same flavor.
It's the same flavor, not necessarily the same world, but it's definitely the same. Like I don't think you can make an argument that Attack on Titan and Full Metal Alchemist are in the same universe.
No, probably not. But like, it does have like it almost like the same time period aesthetic to it.
Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah,
but they are more westernized, and if you're not into like the super over the top Japanese stuff, it's like a little bit easier to digest.
Yes, it is.
But it's definitely really intense.
Yeah, it is a lot, and it's intense, but it also at the same time has a lot of information that sometimes it feels like it just kind of dumps on you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
the characters really grounds it.
I think so too. I don't think it's too like over the top, like the like when they exposition dump, it's not overwhelming, and it's not like I don't feel like it's like unnecessary.
Right.
I feel like there's build up to the exposition dumps.
And it's also like characters like telling Armin stuff or telling someone else stuff. It's not like those obvious talk at the camera and tell you what the story is.
Yeah, that's true. But what I was talking about is like they'll like drop hints at things and get you to kind of guess and see like what you think it might be, and then it gets to a head where all of a sudden someone goes like, no, you don't understand, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. And then there's an exposition dump, and then it all comes together and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
And it's kind of like earned instead of just like oh, while they're fighting over here, I'm gonna monologue to myself, and it's like, okay. I guess.
It's like that doesn't make sense, but okay.
I was gonna say, it feels like you could be more focused on like what's going on here, but okay.
Have your little like self-realization of things you already knew.
Oh man. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I think I guess we could just have our closing thoughts about season 3 and Attack on Titan in general. Like,
I mean, so far,
what is one thing you would really like to see? Maybe.
I feel like they've been leading up. They've been really hyping up. Well, not hyping up, but I feel like they've really been hinting at like a romance sparking somewhere. And I don't necessarily feel like it needs to happen, but I would be interested to see if they actually like go through it at some point, whether it's something that happens like mid-season and then like kind of grows throughout, or if it's something that ends with that and then just implies that they have like a happily ever after with someone. It doesn't have to be anyone specifically, but I think I was talking to you about when we were watching the first half of season 3. Historia and Eren were getting a lot of screen time together,
right? And
there was a moment where Mikasa was like giving her the death stare and was like, don't talk to my man. But at the same time, it's like, well, you haven't made a move for Eren, and neither has he.
And there was like a lot of nice, like really relatable moments with those two characters.
Yeah,
not Mikasa, but
not Mikasa. Hashtag not best girl. Don't at me, except at me. But I think I mentioned to you, it was just like, if they wanted to pair them up relationship wise, I wouldn't mind, because they seem to have more chemistry on camera than Eren and Mikasa. And
now that you mention it, there isn't like too many romances in the show. It doesn't really focus on that much. I know they don't like have time for that.
They almost don't. Like I don't think there's been a single like filler episode for Attack on Titan. There just isn't.
Yeah, it's just really fast paced, and they're always having to worry and be prepared about something.
Each episode has like weight to the plot somehow. And but I think I was talking to you about this earlier, but at the end of season 2, Mikasa has this like emotional like why am I struggling with words today? No, she has this like she has this emotional oh my gosh, when you express your feelings to someone,
I don't know. Emotional.
When you when she admits her feelings to Aaron, right?
Yes, that works.
And like quote unquote when she does that, but that never went anywhere. And it wasn't even like she was like saying like, hey, like I want to hook up with you, bro. It wasn't anything like that.
I want some of that Titan action.
Oh, jeez. It's like, can you turn into a Titan and then no? But because I'm just thinking like she didn't even say that. It's more just like, you know, I can fight on because of you. And it's just like, and it felt like it was supposed to be more like along the lines of like a romantic confession.
But Aaron was just like, meh.
Aaron was just like, I mean, he didn't even, I don't even think he acknowledged it. He just went like, okay. Like, and then it seems like they just went on and then they act like that conversation never happened. So I don't know. I would like to see like some progression on that front, but that doesn't have to happen. Like I understand like if they don't want to focus on that at all, that's fine. But it's just kind of like, I kind of want to see some payoff for that. But if they don't, I'm not going to like, they're like, boo, worst anime ever.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I really want to see more. I want to see Beast Titan. I really want to see him fight.
Oh yeah,
like Aaron.
Like fight. He's big though.
He's huge. Because they talked about Aaron potentially facing off with him, and I don't know what that looked like because, like you said, he's gigantic, and he has a very different like fighting style. Yeah. I would assume based on
he can talk,
long arms, and he can talk, and yeah, it's just I want to see them collide, but I'm also worried about it.
Yeah,
because I don't know how it's gonna end.
I don't know either, but you know, unless you read the manga, then you kind of already know. But whatever.
Yeah. I thought about, because I used to read it, and I was a little bit ahead of the show at a point in the past, and I was like, you know what? I really enjoy watching the anime more. It's just more dynamic and it has sound and everything. It's just like, I'm gonna stop reading the manga, just enjoy it as the show comes out and find out that way. And I think it's just a better experience that way. But yeah, really great show. Look forward to keep watching it and finding out what else is gonna happen.
Yeah. So thank you for enduring this, you know, hour-long information dump.
Attack on your ear holes.
Yeah, oh gosh. Tease of like what one of our first podcast name ideas was gonna be. It was like nerdy in the ear hole or something.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah, that was mine. That was one of mine, and you were just like, no, I don't like that.
People feel too weird.
It sounded weird. It's like we could have a weird ASMR opening. It's like,
you just got nerded in the no thanks. On that note,
you just got nerded. Oh man, I miss David. So thank you so much for joining us here on Nerdin' Out. Thankfully, we're called Nerdin' Out. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. Where can
Podbean, Spotify. You can email us at nerdnoutpodcast@gmail.com. Subject line Flavor Blasted. Please email us. We would love to get topic suggestions or just like,
because we're running out of ideas. Hence today.
Hey, I thought that was a good topic.
I know,
but
I'm joking. You can also find us on iTunes. Do we say iTunes?
Oh no, but iTunes is definitely where you can find us.
You can find us there
iTunes
too.
is really good.
You can also find our podcast archives on YouTube as well.
Oh, yeah.
It'll just be like a video with the thumbnail on it, but that's fine. You can, if you want to just have like YouTube on in the background, you can do that.
Yeah, but tell your friends. There's plenty of places you could share us.
Oh yeah. And thank you so much for supporting us and just kind of and like adding more and more downloads to our numbers. It's been really encouraging. And again, thank you so much for listening. I've been Evan.
And I've been
Titans. There's a guy who made a Spider Cop cosplay. And then someone commented underneath Spider Cop.
That's one of
Sees black guy and pop.
Yeah, I saw that. It's so bad.
He's not shooting webs. He's shooting caution tape. That's absurd. Oh man,
Internet gets so weird, but I love it.
That'll be a good end card. All right.
What's the Japanese like? Good morning, good evening, afternoon.
I don't know.
Ohayo. I think Konnichiwa was afternoon. Oh well, I don't know the third one.
Omayo Jindeo. Noni? I don't know.
Nane sore.
We're just gonna be like speaking like American English Japanese.
We're gonna speaking like non-Japanese Japanese.
Okay.
Better todo.
I also like how Krillin in Dragon Ball is Kuririn.
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 It's like,
Oh my gosh. It's like, why don't you make names that you can say?
right. Why don't you make names that are like easy to say? I mean, maybe for them it's easy to say.
Maybe
I
they
don't
think
know.
they're saying it right.
I don't know. Kuririn.